It started like any other Wednesday night. But by the time the cameras cut to black, the AEW universe would be changed forever. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Because this wasn't just another match. It was the night Arissa LeBrock, daughter of action legend Steven Seagal, walked into AEW and set the entire arena on fire. The show had already been electric. The women's champion strutted out with her belt shining like a crown, taunting the crowd and mocking the challengers she'd crushed. But what nobody expected was the moment the lights dimmed, and a slow, echoing theme filled the arena. A mysterious new entrant walking out in black leather, her eyes cold, her stride powerful. Commentators scrambled. "Who is this? Wait, that's Arissa LeBrock." The crowd erupted in disbelief. Social media exploded within seconds. Seagal's Daughter in AEW? Tweets flooded timelines. As Arissa stepped into the ring, she didn't grab a mic. She didn't pose. She just stared down the champion, nose to nose, as thousands of fans chanted, "Hollywood blood." The champ smirked, raising her belt, mocking Arissa's movie background. But that smirk vanished fast when Arissa's hand cracked across her face with a thunderous slap that echoed through the entire arena. The audience gasped. The champ's head snapped to the side and even the commentators froze mid-sentence. Fans in the front rows stood up, phones shaking as they filmed. Did she really just slap the champion? Security rushed the ring, but the champion waved them off, clutching her jaw and screaming, "You just made the biggest mistake of your life." In that instant, AEW's world flipped. It wasn't a gimmick anymore. Arissa LeBrock had arrived with fire in her eyes and a legacy behind her that nobody wanted to mess with. Backstage, chaos spread. Producers yelled into headsets. Tony Khan was reportedly furious, and rumors swirled that the slap wasn't planned. If that was true, then AEW had just witnessed a real crossover moment, one that blurred the line between entertainment and reality. Fans online called it the most shocking debut since Ronda Rousey. You could almost feel the ripple of energy sweep through wrestling media. Podcasts, Twitter Spaces, even late-night hosts were talking about Steven Seagal's daughter walking into AEW and slapping the champion on live TV. But who really planned it? Was it a storyline or a rebellion? The truth behind that infamous slap was even crazier than anyone imagined. They said she wouldn't survive one night in the ring. They said she was just Seagal's kid, cashing in on her father's fame. But Arissa LeBrock was built different. Viewers on social media went wild as footage of her first training sessions resurfaced. Long before AEW, she had been quietly training with MMA veterans, learning submissions, strikes, and grappling from fighters who respected her father's martial arts background. In other words, she wasn't pretending. She was becoming. Her Hollywood roots gave her fame, but it was the discipline that gave her edge. She was known for saying, "I'm not here to act tough, I am tough." That line became a viral meme after the slap aired. Clips of her father, Steven Seagal, teaching Aikido decades ago, began trending alongside her AEW debut video. But behind the confidence was a deeper story, one of rejection, frustration, and a hunger to prove herself. In an emotional backstage interview days later, Arissa confessed, "People think I had it easy because of my name. They don't know what it's like to fight for respect." The AEW locker room wasn't exactly welcoming. Many wrestlers saw her as an outsider, a Hollywood actress trying to invade their world. Reports leaked that some female stars refused to share the ring with her. One source even claimed the slap wasn't scripted, that Arissa's anger was real after being mocked by the champion earlier that night. Still, her popularity skyrocketed. Within 48 hours, AEW's YouTube channel had gained nearly 1 million new views on her segment alone. Fans started calling her the real hit girl. Memes compared her stare-downs to her father's famous fight scenes. Commentators debated whether AEW had struck gold or lit a fuse they couldn't control. One said, "She's not just another celebrity cameo. She's a storm brewing in slow motion." And while fans argued online about whether the slap was fake or real, ERUPT was already training for her first official match, a non-title showdown against the same woman she humiliated live on television. The buildup was insane. Every AEW promo, every commercial break teased it. The slap, heard around the world, leads to war. By the time the next Wednesday came around, the entire wrestling community was waiting to see if lightning would strike twice, and when ERUPT's entrance hit the arena again, fans held their breath. Because this time, she wasn't coming to make a statement. She was coming to make a fight. The lights went down, the crowd went silent, and all eyes locked on the ramp. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. As ERUPT LeBrock walked out in a black and silver gear inspired by her father's classic movie uniforms. Sleek, disciplined, intimidating. Across the ring, the women's champion waited with a smirk, the bruise from the slap still faintly visible. She taunted, shouting, "Welcome to the real world, princess!" The bell rang, and chaos erupted. ERUPT's first move wasn't flashy. It was fast, surgical. A leg sweep that dropped the champ instantly. The crowd exploded. Commentators screamed, "She's channeling her father's style." Every minute of that match felt like a war. ERUPT took heavy hits but kept standing up. The champ, known for her brutality, slammed her into the corner repeatedly. The arena echoed with "Hollywood, Hollywood" chants as ERUPT fought back with precision strikes. Then came the moment no one saw coming. The champion went for her finisher, but ERUPT reversed it into an armlock straight out of Aikido technique. Fans jumped out of their seats. The champ's screams filled the arena. The crowd erupted into chaos, as the referee looked stunned, unsure whether to stop it. ERUPT held the submission for just long enough to prove her point, then let go, standing over her opponent with fire in her eyes. It wasn't a pin. It wasn't a win. But it was domination. After the bell, the champion grabbed a mic, shouting that ERUPT got lucky. But before she could finish, ERUPT snatched the mic and said just 6 words that froze the arena. "You wanted real. Now you've got it." Social media went nuclear. Clips of that line hit millions of views overnight. Wrestling analysts called it the most authentic confrontation AEW has ever seen. Even UFC fighters began reacting online, praising ERUPT's technique. The next morning, AEW's ratings broke records. Every news outlet from Sports Illustrated to TMZ covered it, and backstage insiders whispered that Tony Khan was secretly preparing something bigger, a contract that could make ERUPT LeBrock one of AEW's most bankable stars. But not everyone was celebrating. Some AEW veterans saw her rise as a threat. One anonymous source was quoted saying, "She's bringing too much Hollywood into our ring, and that's dangerous." They were right, because what happened next would divide AEW like never before. When success comes fast, enemies come faster. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing, as locker room drama began spilling onto live TV. Within weeks of her viral debut, ERUPT was no longer the underdog. She was the headline. AEW producers started scripting her into more segments, pairing her with veterans to test her commitment. But jealousy runs deep in wrestling. Rumors spread that some wrestlers plotted to embarrass her during live shows. Botched moves, unplanned hits, and dangerous spots. It all came to a boiling point during a tag team match when her supposed partner refused to tag in, leaving ERUPT alone against 2 opponents. The crowd booed as she got beaten down, but then, like a movie hero rising from the ashes, she countered both wrestlers at once and ended the match standing tall. The crowd erupted into chaos, chanting her name louder than ever. But backstage, cameras caught her arguing with AEW officials, slamming her locker shut, shouting, "If this is how you test loyalty, I don't need it." Clips leaked instantly. Hashtags like Yikiach Protect ERUPT and Eat AEW Drama trended for days. Podcasts accused AEW of sabotaging her push. Even her father, Steven Seagal, reportedly called management demanding answers. But things got darker. During a live promo, the women's champion, still nursing her pride, mocked Arissa's mother, calling her just another Hollywood prop. The crowd gasped. Arissa's face went cold. Without a word, she walked to the ring and tackled the champion to the mat in a flurry of fists. Security tore them apart, but the damage was done. That unscripted moment blurred every line between real and staged. Fans debated endlessly. Was it planned or personal? AEW refused to comment, adding more fuel to the fire. Within days, Arissa was suspended for conduct violations. The internet exploded. Millions demanded her reinstatement. Memes, edits, and fan posters painted her as a rebel hero, the Hollywood warrior standing up against corporate control. But behind the chaos, Arissa was already plotting her return. In secret, she trained harder than ever. Midnight sessions, private sparring, intense conditioning. Her message on social media said it all. You can suspend a fighter, but you can't silence a legacy. When AEW finally announced her return match, it wasn't just another fight. It was a reckoning. And the stipulation? If she won, she'd get a shot at the AEW Women's Championship. Live at full gear. The crowd's reaction was thunderous. Everyone knew what was coming next, and nobody was ready for it. The arena was packed. The lights dimmed. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. As the Titantron replayed the slap heard around the world, now remixed into a cinematic promo, it was time for Arissa LeBrock versus the AEW Women's Champion. The champion entered first, surrounded by security, holding her title high with arrogance. Then came Arissa, dressed in black and red gear, her father's signature ponytail mirrored in her look. The crowd roared her name. Bell rings. Silence. Tension so thick it felt like a movie climax. The first exchange was brutal. Chops, kicks, reversals. Arissa took a hit to the jaw that rattled her, but she smiled through it. Commentators shouted, "She's got that Seagal resilience." Halfway through, the champ tried to end it with her finisher, but Arissa countered with an arm lock again, this time fully locking it in. The champ screamed. The crowd lost its mind. The crowd erupted into chaos. But in a shocking twist, the referee didn't call it. A distraction outside the ring. One of the champ's allies jumped onto the apron. Arissa broke the hold to defend herself, landing a kick that sent the interference crashing down. But the second she turned back, bam, a steel chair shot from behind. The ref didn't see it. The champion pinned her. 1, 2, kick out. The roof blew off the arena. Fans screamed as Arissa rose again, eyes blazing. She unleashed a fury of strikes that looked straight out of a Seagal film. Precise, devastating, unrelenting. Then came the finish. The champion swung again with the chair, but Arissa ducked, spun, and delivered a knockout slap heard all the way to the back row. The champ fell, motionless. Arissa covered her. 1, 2, 3. The bell rang. Fireworks erupted. New AEW Women's Champion. Arissa LeBrock. Fans cried. Commentators yelled over each other. This is history. The Hollywood legacy just conquered AEW. Social media went into meltdown. Every platform exploded with the victory. Even her father, Steven Seagal, posted a proud message. The discipline always wins. But as Arissa held the belt high, a shadow appeared on the ramp. A new challenger watching silently. Someone even more dangerous. And AEW's story was just beginning. Weeks after the match, AEW couldn't stop talking about her. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. As Arissa LeBrock, once dismissed as a celebrity gimmick, became the company's top draw. Her reign as champion was more than symbolic. It was transformative. Ratings hit record highs. International media praised her for blending cinema with combat. Yet with fame came pressure. Every rival wanted to be the one to dethrone the Hollywood queen. Arissa's story turned from revenge to redemption. She began mentoring younger wrestlers, emphasizing discipline and respect, values her father had taught her. "It's not about being the loudest," she said in an interview. "It's about being the last one standing." Meanwhile, AEW's management leaned into her popularity, producing a documentary titled Legacy of the Slap. The trailer broke 1 million views in hours. Fans relived that first moment, the shock, the defiance, the sound that started it all. But not everyone celebrated. The former champion, now bitter and vengeful, began stalking her, interrupting matches, ambushing her backstage. AEW teased another collision, one that would decide not just the title, but the legacy itself. The tension built week after week until one night, during a live broadcast, the arena lights went out. When they came back, the former champ stood behind Arisa, holding a steel chair. Before she could strike, Arisa turned, caught the chair mid-swing, and stared her down. The crowd erupted into chaos. As security rushed the stage, the commentators shouted, "It's happening again. She's not backing down." But instead of attacking, Arisa dropped the chair, raised the mic, and said calmly, "You can fight me any time. But remember this, I slapped you once, and the world never forgot." The arena exploded. Fans chanted her name for nearly 5 minutes straight. That moment sealed her as not just a champion, but a phenomenon. Arisa LeBrock had crossed from celebrity to legend, from movie bloodline to wrestling royalty. In the final scene of her AEW documentary, she looked into the camera and said, "That slap wasn't about anger, it was about arrival." And for millions watching around the world, that moment became history. The instant Steven Seagal's daughter proved she didn't need a script to be a star. Because in wrestling, like in life, you don't get remembered for the punches you take. You get remembered for the one slap that changes everything.